The star, best known for her role as Victoria Sugdan in the ITV soap, posted on her Instagram last week that she had given birth. The actress, 32, shared an absolutely adorable reel that begins with her in a hospital room on a birthing bowl. The clip then confirms the little tot, Georgie Grace, was born on February 11th at 1:02 a.m. Isabelle also shared a super cute black and white Polaroid snap of her cradling the newborn. And just over a week later, Isabelle has added yet another lovely picture of her little one to her Instagram stories, saying that she breaks her heart. After confirming the baby's arrival, Isabelle's friends from Emmerdale flocked to the comments, all ready to share congratulatory messages. Relishing in the wonder of becoming a parent for the first time, Isabelle's husband recently took to Instagram to share some more wonderful snaps of little Georgie Grace. In the caption, though, Adam made quite the admission about what happened during Isabelle's labor, revealing to his followers that he fainted twice. "My greatest achievement," he began in the caption. "Watching my Isabel Hodgins bring our Gigi into the world will stay with me forever. I have never been prouder. And yes, I fainted twice. Thankfully, she's the strong one." In the comments, Isabelle's friend and co-star Laura Norton expressed her shock at the news of Adam fainting. He then responded and said, Isabelle had to cut the cord and reveal the gender herself. 32-year-old Isabelle confirmed her pregnancy in August last year. Speaking to OK! Magazine at the time, the actress laughed about how Adam, 28, was actually the one to tell her that she was expecting. Isabelle was late by a few days, so she did a test. But then, she just threw it on the floor, and it was upside down just lying there, Adam explained. "I didn't want to look at it, as I felt it would make time go slower to stare. But Mr. Impatient comes along to look at it, and sees that it's positive," Isabelle joked. "But I thought, surely we can't trust it because it's been upside down, so it might have impacted the result. We rushed to Boots to buy 3 more, and they were all positive too, so we thought it must be right." Isabelle's final scenes as Victoria Sugdan aired last week in Emmerdale. The character, who Isabelle has played since 2006, chose to depart life in the village for a new one in Portugal, with son Harry and Diane Sugdan. It wasn't an easy decision, but Victoria felt she had no choice but to leave. At the start of 2026, Vic killed her brother John Sugdan, Oliver Farnworth. Joe Tate, Ned Porteous, managed to obtain video evidence of her covering up his death, and used it as a blackmail weapon. Joe told Vic and Robert Sugdan, Ryan Hawley, that if they didn't give him the Sugdan farmland, he would tell the police about how John really died. They tried to find a way around it, but Vic came to accept that a Tate had won again. Concluding the village was holding too many bad memories, she said an emotional goodbye to Robert, but told him that she would return. The Instagram reel began quietly. No dramatic music. No elaborate editing. Just Isabelle in a hospital room, perched on a birthing ball, focused and calm. The clip carried the quiet intensity of someone standing on the brink of a life-changing moment. Then came the text overlay. Georgie Grace, born February 11th at 1:02 a.m. Just like that, Victoria Sugdan, the girl who grew up before viewers' eyes for nearly 2 decades, had become a mum. Fans flooded the comments within minutes. Hearts, tears, congratulations, messages from across the world. For many, it felt strangely emotional. They had watched Isabelle grow up on screen. Now she was stepping into motherhood in real life. A Polaroid full of love. Alongside the reel, Isabelle shared a black and white Polaroid-style photograph. In it, she cradled newborn Georgie Grace close to her chest, her expression a mixture of exhaustion and overwhelming joy. There was no heavy makeup, no red carpet glamour, just raw happiness. The photo captured something timeless, that first fragile closeness between mother and baby. Fans called it pure magic. And just over a week later, Isabelle wasn't done sharing. She added another sweet image of Georgie to her Instagram stories, writing simply that her daughter breaks her heart. 3 words. But anyone who has held their newborn knows exactly what she meant. A dad's honest confession. If Isabelle's posts were tender, her husband's were refreshingly honest. Adam, beaming with pride, uploaded his own set of photos featuring baby Georgie Grace. Tiny fingers, button nose, swaddled perfection. In his caption, he called the birth his greatest achievement. Then he admitted something that left fans both laughing and stunned. He fainted. Twice. "Watching my Isabel Hodgins bring our Gigi into the world will stay with me forever," he wrote. "I have never been prouder. And yes, I fainted. Twice. Thankfully, she's the strong one." The confession made him instantly relatable. In the comments, Isabel's Emmerdale co-star Laura Norton expressed her shock. Adam responded with another unexpected detail. Isabel had to cut the cord and reveal the baby's gender herself because he was recovering from his fainting spell. It wasn't the dramatic cinematic birth some imagine. It was real, messy, overwhelming, human, and somehow even more beautiful for it. The pregnancy reveal that started it all. The journey to Georgie Grace began months earlier. In August last year, Isabel confirmed she was pregnant, sharing the news publicly after keeping it private in the early weeks. Speaking to OK! Magazine, she and Adam told the story of how they discovered they were expecting. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't staged. It involved a pregnancy test lying upside down on the bathroom floor. Isabel had been a few days late and took a test, but then tossed it aside without really looking. Adam, impatient and curious, picked it up. Positive. But Isabel wasn't convinced. What if it's wrong because it was upside down, she joked. The pair rushed to Boots to buy 3 more tests. All positive. At that moment, the reality set in. They were going to be parents. Saying goodbye to Victoria Sugdan. As Isabel prepared for motherhood in real life, her alter ego was facing her own emotional goodbye. Isabel's final scenes as Victoria Sugdan aired last week on Emmerdale. Victoria, a character she had played since 2006, chose to leave the village for a new life in Portugal with her son Harry and Diane Sugdan. For viewers, it was the end of an era. Isabel had been part of Emmerdale for nearly 20 years, growing from child actress to leading woman on one of Britain's most beloved soaps. Her departure storyline was explosive. At the start of 2026, Victoria killed her brother John Sugdan. It was an accident, a moment of chaos, but the consequences were devastating. Then came the blackmail. Joe Tate obtained video evidence of Victoria covering up John's death and used it as leverage. Unless Victoria and Robert Sugdan handed over Sugdan farmland, Joe would go to the police. They tried to fight it. They tried to outmaneuver him. But in the end, Victoria accepted defeat. A Tate had won again. Haunted by guilt and exhausted by the memories surrounding her, she chose to leave. Her goodbye to Robert was tearful but hopeful. She promised she would return. For fans, it felt bittersweet. The door wasn't closed, but it was certainly paused. A new chapter begins. While Victoria boarded a fictional plane to Portugal, Isabel was entering a very real new chapter. Motherhood. Friends from Emmerdale were quick to send love. Castmates filled her comments with congratulations, heart emojis and joyful disbelief. For many of them, it felt like watching a little sister grow up. For fans, it was equally emotional. They had seen Isabel through on-screen marriages, heartbreaks, betrayals and dramatic storylines. Now they were witnessing something far more significant. Real life. The power of growing up on screen. There is something uniquely powerful about actors who grow up in long-running soaps. Audiences form a bond that feels almost familial. They remember their first episode, their awkward teenage years, their transformation into confident adults. Isabel joined Emmerdale as a child. She navigated school alongside filming schedules. She matured in front of millions. And now, at 32, she has become a mother. For viewers who started watching as children themselves, the milestone feels personal. Time has passed. Life has changed. And yet, through it all, Isabel remained a constant presence on screen. Until now. Life beyond the village. Leaving Emmerdale wasn't easy. It had been her professional home for nearly 2 decades. But becoming a parent changes priorities. In interviews, Isabel has spoken about embracing this new season of life fully. There are no scripts. No retakes. No dramatic cliffhangers. Just sleepless nights, tiny yawns and the soft weight of a newborn against her chest. Adam's fainting confession might have added humor to the birth story, but his pride was unmistakable. Watching Isabel give birth, he said, would stay with him forever. For all the glitz associated with television fame, it was a reminder that at its core, life's most powerful moments happen far from the spotlight. Fans react. Social media response has been overwhelmingly positive. Fans described Georgie Grace as perfect. They called the photos adorable. They praised Isabel's honesty. Some even admitted to tearing up. One follower wrote, "We watched you grow up on our screens. Now you're a mum. This feels so special." Another said, "Victoria Sugdan may have left the village, but Isabel's real-life story is just beginning." The warmth was palpable. What comes next? For now, Isabel seems focused entirely on soaking up newborn life. The late-night feeds. The sleepy cuddles. The surreal realization that this tiny human is hers. Will she return to Emmerdale one day? The door remains open. Victoria Sugdan promised she would come back. And in Soapland, anything is possible. But for now, Isabel's storyline isn't written by scriptwriters. It's written in lullabies, in whispered reassurances, in first smiles and tiny fingers wrapped around hers.